Alright, so I realized in the last video I had the pants backwards, so I went ahead and fixed that and then kind of fixed the shape of them a little bit. I don't have it perfect right now, obviously, but it's good enough for now. I think I'm okay with that. I probably would want to keep working on this piece, but I could do that in segments, just like I did before, so not a big deal. I probably just need to make the back section real quick. We're on edit mode, but I'm gonna do the jacket too, which is a little bit more challenging because the jacket is not so easy in comparison to the pants. So we're gonna do this little back plate real quick. This should be fairly easy, I think, because it's really just a pretty straightforward section. Delete that. Probably just inset this. If I can pull it out a little bit. Then of course all of this needs to be joined together as well. But they'll be off slightly. This is one where it would help to be more accurate, um, because you would not want to distort the molly as much as possible. And fortunately, the shape is so basic it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to pull it down a little bit so it's just a little bit thicker. Pull the middle sections up. Give it a little bit of a curvature to it. Once again, the plates inside would have a little bit more curvature as well, so I'm going to do a proportional edit and just kind of bring it out a little bit. Maybe there. This next section would probably dip in a little bit. Bottom would probably dip in a little as well. And then the outskirts on the sides, I imagine fold in just a little bit like that. Just a tiny bit, not too much. And so we more or less have our back plate now. Just that quick, right? And that's what's fun about this modeling technique is it's not really that crazy to keep working this. I don't like the way this looked in the back. So what you'll see here is that that just looks bizarre to me. The proportions and stuff here are probably off a little bit. So I'm gonna probably want to fix that. I'm gonna make this about the same size. It probably is a little tiny bit bigger, but for the most part, I think we'll be all right. About the same size. So these sections, let's go ahead and whoops, I don't want to copy nothing. LP separate selection. I want it separate, so I had joined them together before. I think scale wise, this should probably be okay. Um, but that little section bothers me quite a bit, so I'm gonna delete it on both sides and just I really should move it, but I'm gonna scale it in. Turn proportional edit off. I'm just gonna hit O. It's gonna scale it in like that, I think. Something like that. This might actually uh, slightly shift it in, actually. Or this will be, I gotta redo the geometry, or the origin point. I have to shift that, so I'm gonna make it shell out a little bit like that. I don't know if that's correct, but guesstimating, I guess, should be alright. What I do want, though, is you can see I didn't finish cutting all the way through on that, so let's just join them real quick. Try to fix them later. They're a little bit off, but slide them for now. Okay. I'm going to put the origin point here. So Shift S cursor to select it, go into object mode, and then do set origin 3D cursor. I want this to be aligned with this one. And I'd say this is pretty close to, I'm going to put the origin point there. Pretty close to right. What I want to do is just align them so I can do transform, and then do align objects. We're going to do X and see how that looks. It should be close. I'm kind of guesstimating everything here. I'm not doing this very precisely. This is precisely imprecise. Okay. Yeah, it's just a little bit off, huh? It's probably from the scaling too. So, delete those faces. We don't need them. I'm going to nudge this around later. I think I want to just get them a little more accurate to these pieces. So that's good enough for me for now. And maybe do it just like the other one. Kind of like that. Also, I'm going to add a loop cut and just pull it in. And then scale it. Scale it in a little bit. I think that looks a little bit nicer. Too thick? Probably. Guessing way too thick, but it shouldn't be a big deal because we're going to end up putting this on the character at some point anyways. We'll have to remove it and shift it all anyways. So we'll do a object, full tool, union. I completely messed it up, right? So we can do full tool, and then we'll do a brush boolean or union. And you'll see it does that. Let's do fast. See what happens with fast there. Okay. It did it. I don't like it. I don't know what happened here. What's going on? Why is it? Oh, it took the other material, of course. So we'll do a plus sign. I don't know which one it is. 3? We'll do an assign. We'll see. It is a 3. No. It's the... I guess it has to be 3 then. That's the only one that makes sense. But that's the front one, so... Which one is this? Oh, is that... Are these both? No, that's the back. So this is 48. Let's come over here. This should be... Yeah, it was already 48. I don't know what's going on here. Let's apply this boolean. Okay, bool tool, boom. We can get rid of the armature. And we'll get rid of this. This whole segment just fortunately was already selected, but you'd have to probably select it. And then now we could do assign 48. Boom, there. Good deal. That worked out pretty well. Still not sure what's going on up here. Looks a little bizarre, huh? Maybe that section. I don't know. That's a little bit bizarre. But for the most part, it's not too bad. Got most of a character going. So the shirt. Let's do the shirt now. Let's do pin. Oh, sorry. Let's do import image as planes. I got a Vortex Parka here. Part of the Equix system for cold weather. And you can see, I couldn't find any good photos of it laying out. Unfortunately, it's going to make maybe the arm sleeves a little bit harder to do. But we can use our crafty abilities here in Blender or Photoshop or whatever to fix that later. So for now, what I really care about is the front and the back. I don't care about the sleeves so much right now because I'm probably going to have to hand paint those. I got a feeling I'm going to have to. So now this is going to do a number like this. Right. And there is a collar as well, which I'm probably going to have to hand paint. So I'll probably just model it here and remap it. And that's what makes this one challenging. This is not a good reference for it anyways. And we could see that maybe doing a seam here to here. Probably could do that different later, but for now, see, we're just cutting out this shape for the most part. I'll put it there. Why not do one all the way across? Let's see this one. We'll just dissolve that one. Slide this one up. Something like that. So I'm not worried about the hood because it's usually rolled up if you're not going to wear it. It's a little pouch there it rolls up into in the back. I need this though. So now we have more or less the front. See, once again, we have this going on. This is get dragged out like so and continue down. Oh, I didn't do this one right. Okay. I didn't do either of them right. Nice. We'll cut to there. Okay, so that gives us a hole there. Do a couple loop cuts, press E and then F. There we go. We'll see how that works out here in a second, but more than likely, the same is the best, right? What you're going to end up doing is pulling out the chest area. Actually, this little section might get an extra loop. I don't know. Probably going to pull out the chest area a little bit. Something like that. A little bit. This will probably actually turn, surprisingly. Might actually turn down. Like that. And then we'll see how that goes. We'll deform it a little bit more appropriately later, probably. Sometimes it's good to just grab everything, do a control V, and smooth vertices a little bit. Sometimes that helps to get your idea around what's going on, but sometimes it's a little too much. In this case, I think it's a little too much, so we'll do a little bit of smooth there, but not too much. This middle section we're going to bring up. This we're going to bring up. Sides we'll bring down a good bit. So it's almost the same as the body armor, except this is going much further down. This section, I'm going to smooth this. Ew, that did not smooth well. We're not going to smooth that. We're going to have to work this one quite a bit, probably, to get it in the right shape. So we're going to flip it, though. Let's line it up with the pants. I don't have a good indicator on the shape of this at all. You can see it's probably a little too thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to append, and I'm going to bring one of my GR characters in. So you can download these off ghostrecon.net. There's 3ds files usually, but you're just doing an import. And I think you can import PDF 3ds files. I don't know. If not, let me know if you run into a problem there. Which one is it? Which object? Let's bring them both in. We can see we're off on scale, first of all. And I'm going to use the original ghost, not the Ethiopian guy. Although he's actually probably better because he's newer. But he doesn't have all the gear and equipment, so yeah, we'll use it. So let's see about how far off I am here. Not too bad. That would be down lower, like right there. This runs just below the rib cage. And the pants are obviously going to be off a little bit because they were kind of folded up or whatever. Gore-Tex, generally speaking, you don't tuck into your boots usually, believe it or not. Somewhere around there, I'd say about right. So going to X-ray real quick. I'm gonna shift this around a little bit, scale it so it matches the original. I'd say the crotch area here. Now I know for a fact crotch area is low on Gore-Tex. It does not go up to where it should. But I'm gonna bring it up just a little bit because I think it's gonna cause problems if I don't when it comes to setting it up on the bones. This section I'm gonna flatten a little, bring it up. You can see it's squishing that texture quite a bit, but we'll nudge things around and get it as high as we can at least. Do some loop cuts here too. Yeah. So there's a symmetry option here for enable mesh symmetry. We're going to do x-axis, and it doesn't work. Okay. I was hoping it would work. It didn't work. We'll just eyeball it, I guess, for now. Eventually, what I will do, without a doubt, is place everything exactly the same on each side. It's not a question of if, it will happen. So these will become symmetrical. It's just really hard to do it when you don't know for sure where everything is going to be right now. Hips are a little too wide. I think I'm just going to scale these on X only for now. Yeah, all the way through. There's going to be quite a bit of cleanup involved on this. All right. Push it and pull polygons. Use the shortcuts to do all what I'm doing right now. I have a custom little thing set up right now so I can toggle between the gizmo. I hit GR and S. It's not something that Blender does by default. I'd say a little bit thicker there, right? So now it's looking a little bit more correct. Oh, a little bit more correct. And so I would tweak things heavily throughout this process, but I'm just trying to get a jacket made, to be honest. That's all I care about. I want a jacket where you can see it's way too flat. If I press Alt H, I pressed H to hide them, but I pressed Alt H to bring them back. So I need to make sure the jacket's going to be about right. And I'm going to get it really pretty much dead centered on them. You can see how much thicker it is, how much wider. Bring it in a little bit, move it around. This is why I do it this way, because it's a lot easier to, I'm going to push that one in. It's a lot easier to figure it out when you have the right proportions and stuff. See, there's probably a couple loop cuts needed in here. Now we can do a scale, bring that in. It does, this jacket tends to have a little flare at the bottom. So see where having those good loop cuts or those good loops is extremely important. And so this section, scale it on Z, just kind of line it up right here. Nudging it a little bit. This section, it helps a lot. Just pay attention to what you're doing. Have it ready to be worked out. So I know for a fact that this is, want this one and this one. Scale them on Z a little bit. There we go. I just want to bring them up a little. A lot, apparently. And I'm going to do a smooth vertices on this one. All right. And it's a little thick with the section here. Those I'm going to smooth. Yeah, that works out. So it's going to have a collar somewhere here. It has to have a collar. And I don't, maybe it doesn't have to, but I want a collar there somewhere. And these I'm going to push forward. I should do both of those at the same time. So like that. This can come forward a little bit. These two on the other side as well. So you can see this is pretty forgiving when it comes to stretching because it's not like you're doing a whole lot of stretching. I hide that now. You can see this is going on. You're going to want to spend some time to do the collar. However, I need the back side as well. And I don't remember the exact topology I used, but we're going to go, you can see where, well, you can't really see it. There's a little pouch here that rolls up into, becomes part of the collar for the thing. Helps if you've ever used this stuff before, but do it like this again. That little section is pretty important in my opinion. So you can actually, you don't have to necessarily model this 100%. The thing about it is that you can kind of like unroll it in a way. So I'm gonna turn correct face attributes on and move that. You can kind of unroll the issues in the fabric there. I have to fix all that, I think. Let's do a knife tool, cut, cut. This one's gonna go to, oh, we'll figure that out in a second. I'm gonna make the sleeves come down like this. Go to there, so yeah, all the way through. There's gonna be a cut there. Going across. 1, 2, 3. Boom. So go all the way down. All the way down. Probably should have went to those little sections. See what happens here. Not real sure how I want to handle this yet. Odds are it's going to be a bunch of down sections. Which isn't my favorite topology, but I'll dissolve those. There we go. Now, we'll curve it to the character. I don't gotta guesstimate it. Yeah, press Alt H real quick. Let's get him out. Move it in object mode. Line it up this way real quick. You see how uneven it is? But there you go. Alt Z, X. Okay, needs a couple loop cuts in here. It's not enough to work it. These sections, I'm just going to rotate them for now and pull them forward somewhere right there. That's all I'm doing for now. This can be right here. I'm going to move it. This probably needs to be another cut there somewhere. Could be distorting the heck out of the mesh or the texture right now. I don't know. We're going to find out in a bit. Oh, I got ooh, that could have been bad. I have correct face attributes on, or I had them on. I just turned it off. You gotta be careful with things like that. I'm telling you, it very easily could bite you. Because I was moving it in edit mode. This one I'm not gonna do as much right now. But I could have accidentally screwed up right there real bad. Okay. Now we got this, and probably just gonna scale it in a little. Move it over a little. More than likely, this section. Why did that one up? I'm gonna merge it all real quick. See if something's doubled up there. Nope. Ah, interesting. One of these is doubled or something. Oh, there's no cut up here. Look at that. That'll do that. Okay, but I didn't need all that. I want this section. Ta-da! Look, it's starting to make sense, maybe a little bit. I can you just grab these sections, I guess, and pull them in. Get that parka looking going. That'll work for now. Uh oh, that actually shifted that UV a lot. Let's slide it first. It's too. I think it's just too far out. That's all. Let's just slide it. Excuse me. Slide it in real quick. There you go. But now we should be able to maybe just scale them in so they stay a little bit more proportional. UV islands. Slightly off on the right side here for some reason. Probably the way it was laid out. Very close though. Let's hide you guy. Let's join this and this. I don't know if I have them matching when it comes to topology, but we're gonna do some snapping, vertex snap. Actually, I don't know if that's gonna work too well. I would say on the back side it works best, but oh, look at that. We might have just got it just right. But that's pretty stretchy. It's not looking too good. So let's figure out what's going on there. So far, looks like we need a loop cut of some sort. So extra vertex, extra vertex. There's another one and another one. There we go. Unhide everything again. So now we have our loop cut. Move that down. We can probably drag these in towards each other a little bit more. That should help out, I think. These we're going to attach to those. Actually, right here, look. Get rid of you again. You're in the way. I'm going to scale these in towards each other a little bit. I'm going to stretch it just a little bit, but I think it's needed. Yeah. Boom. Pushing and pulling the polygons. This is where symmetry will save you a ton of time, but unfortunately, we're not doing that symmetry stuff. It's a bad side effect of this method, but it's still pretty useful, I think. Where's this other one that I had that I thought was going to work out? Guess not. Let's go ahead and just match here to here, maybe. Here to here. Here to here. Can do here to here. It's pretty wild looking. I want to move this one over. Slide it back. So now we're going to see a lot of this doesn't make any sense. Because now we have this weird 3 section in the middle, which doesn't make any sense. Let's just start attaching these ones as best as we can. This one can go here. We can shift the UVs later if we absolutely have to, which I think we will. Because that's got already a seam in it. But other than that, it looks like it matched up fairly well. This is going to end up going down, I think, a little bit. Or I'll shift. I might have to simplify something somewhere, or I'll have to cut something. I think I should probably cut something, to be honest. So, like if I was to slide this out, let's slide that one out, merge it. Here's where it gets fun. I could do a cut, cut. And we could do an extra little section in here. Okay. All the way down. That gives us a quad there. So this is our arm sleeve, right? What we gotta do is marry up the sides here. I think this is a little extra that we could probably get rid of. Oh, you know what? No. Slide that back a little bit. That one too at the same time. We can bring these in towards each other. I'm gonna do this with a little proportional edit, maybe? Just so that it doesn't distort as much. It's close. Press S and 0. You can do that number. I'll slide this one up. That doesn't do nothing. I don't like the way these are sitting right now. I really want another little section here. I don't have it right now. So this one's close, I think. Want like a loop around it. It'll be like a loop. Let's do this. We'll merge it center all the way down. It should look okay-ish. You can see it matches up fairly well. I told you the jacket's going to be a little bit of a problem. It is. Like that's ridiculous. Whatever that was. Let's not do that one. So it's stretching it as I merge it center. Keep that in mind. Let's kind of evening things out a little bit. This bottom loop, I'm going to do a smooth vertices. Wait, I don't like that either. Maybe just these ones. Yeah, that's a little nicer. All right. These are too thick, I think. Back a little bit, line them up. There we go. That's as good as that's going to get for now. This Parker. This jacket is going to end up running down more than this. So I'm going to turn on proportional edit. And I'm just going to pull it all down a little bit. They're pretty long. I mean, they go down a lot farther than that. They go down to like right. So I mean, they're pretty bulky. Right. I should be able to move with proportional or with correct face attributes. Able to just move that one up. Then I can cut around like that. There you go. Still stretched in there. We're going to have to fix that later. So actually, I'm going to align this one with that one. So we're going to do top align. Oh, the align doesn't. All right, guess you can't do that. It shifts the UVs. All right. Slide that one down, slide that one down. I think that it's almost the same as the other side. It's not quite. It needs a double. Needs like this. So that's correct. This one's still not correct. The reason being is it needs to go like this. And those need to go like that. Right? Or something like that anyways. Jeez. Giving me problems here. Alright, we'll leave that as is. So we got the jacket now, mostly done. Mostly. We don't have the collar yet. We don't have the collar done, and we don't have the sleeves. Right? And we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna combine these sections too. I'm gonna grab this center piece with proportional edit. Just pull it out a little bit. I'm gonna move it back in with it a little bit lower, maybe. Something like this. Yeah, that's good enough for now. Alright, so this jankiness up here is really bothering me. I'm gonna select all of these ones. If it'll let me. If it'll let me select them. Okay. I gotta see the UV on this because it's really bad. You can see sometimes when you move things, you can really mess them up if you're using the correct face attributes. So for whatever reason, I can't see my little, I'll turn proportional edit off here, but vertex, right? I want to merge these at center. And these ones too, why not? So they're going to become messed up at the bottom, but we'll fix those too. I just need these to be fixed first. The big one to me. I know it's manual work. Like this is mind-numbingly boring. It's like I gotta merge all of these. Probably a faster way to do this, to be honest. This is why I kind of like working with next gen stuff because you don't you could just re-unwrap this because you're gonna do the materials and stuff and substance usually, but so you see I did all those. Now if I select these ones too, you see they don't line up. Um, that's okay. I think I'm just going to grab this whole section, bring it down a little bit, and I'm tired of looking at the small thing here. So merge it center. Probably do a merge by distance as well. I imagine that would work on these. Oh, look, that one's even split up. Ew. This is kind of like your final push. So before you, um, you know what? Before you Boolean everything, you probably should go through and do this anyways. No, not at cursor, center. So if you're going to Boolean the vest to this jacket, you should probably do this anyways beforehand. It'll probably get messed up again, but at least you're like managing a little bit of it before it gets too crazy, you know? Because at this point, we know this next one's already messed up too. You can see, well, it's actually not that bad. This section is I'm not sure about that one. Yeah, you can see there's another split in there. I don't like that. I think I screwed something up somewhere along the line because normally it's not this bad. So just keep that in mind. You can screw these up relatively easy as well. It's just something you don't really want to do by accident. I'm not going to fix that right now. Not for this video anyways. Because it's going to start shifting. I'll shade it smooth, but it's going to start shifting it out of alignment with what the image was. Might fix some areas, but it's going to start shifting it too. All right, so as rough as all that was, here's the trick with the arms. Probably should have did the sleeves too at the same time. Anyways, we can unhide him. We'll use his arms. I'm taking a leg. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to rotate it. Oh, look, 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 look. Ah, it's on. It's messing it up. Take it now. Duplicate it. Rotate it. And rotate it again. Scale it in. So we can Photoshop fix the sleeve later. Might be useful to even rotate this though, like that. But we can, no, we'll rotate it on X actually. And we'll try to find a section of seam that actually matches up with the other section. So I forgot where the seam was on these things. So the inside seam is the under the arm, and that's it, right? This is going to have two seams. So we can fix the seam later on the top. But let's go ahead and select that section again. Seams right here on the top right now. It should be correct. All right. See, that's going to look about right. We'll Photoshop magic it later. What I do want to do though is hide him again real quick. We'll do the rest later. I need to make sure this is going to match up, and it looks like we might be just right on the money here, almost. No, not right here. Might have to fix some of that. Dissolve some things, or we can add loop cuts. Forgot we can do that. I did those legs with the wrong amount of edges anyways, so I probably need to go back and fix them. I'm actually used to modeling with 6-sided legs, not 8. So GR had more detail than I'm used to, I guess. But whatever. I don't really like doing characters, first of all. It's not my forte. I don't really care for this, but move them as close as I can. And now you can see why the arms are so important. And I'm skewing the heck out of the UVs right now. But it's okay, because it's going much faster than any other way. Yeah, so we'll Photoshop magic the sleeve section later. That's how that works. Okay. But we can go ahead and just move them kind of in a proportion. And they're still going to be thick because it's a winter jacket. Right? Yeah, we can do the top. Just going to move them back. Doing the loop, loop. There you go. Let's make these ones thicker. You'd want to get the elbow right as well. I'm not going to focus on it right now, but it needs to be right. Let's make those bigger. All right, so these ones, I'm going to do a smooth vertices real quick. And do smooth vertices. Okay, so there's a little trick. If you do individual origins, individual, you can scale all those together like that at the same time. Also, I know for a fact these usually come down to about here. So we're gonna move them with proportional edit to about there. Okay. I might dissolve that loop. I don't know. It's kind of redundant. We'll hide him. And this same piece, more or less, you would do on the other side as well. So I'm going to duplicate it, press Control M, hold the middle mouse button, flip it over. Try that again. Click. We'll move it up. Oh, proportional edit. Yeah. All right. Everything inverted, so Alt and flip. There we go. You don't see it do that. You might have to turn on backface colon right here. But when you do the Control M and mirror, it always does that. And if it doesn't, if you go Control A and apply scale, it definitely will. Or it definitely should anyways. So now, you snap vertex, same thing over here. You know, you could argue that it's easier to model all this real quick and then put the textures onto it. You know, some people might make that argument. They're not necessarily going to be wrong. It could be. But I think it's a lot cooler because when you do it this way, it's really easy to get all the pieces you want, you know? And then you can see how if we know how many sides on an arm we want, we can always make the vest and stuff do what we want. And then, you know, we can always make the boots match. We can make the gloves match. So we can build the little pieces we want of a character. And then more or less, um, we're good, you know? Like we can just, what's going on here? Oh, the arms are, let's separate those actually. Let's separate them real quick. So we can move all this together and line it up. But we can more or less make the character, even though it's janky right now. We can figure out what we need pretty quick. It takes a little bit of work to start to like, for instance, we got to boolean this to this section, right? But this plate carrier doesn't match it. It's not intersecting it. So like there's a big hole in there. But now it won't boolean well because of that. However, you can certainly see the benefit of doing it this way, right? Like you'll have to go and nudge it together so that it booleans properly. And then you can work this whole character back together little by little. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. You know, you'd want to make sure you take your time on this. I'm speeding through it. I'm not worrying about keeping things 100% accurate all over, right? Like this is obviously not 100%, but you want to take your time, make these perfect, make that perfect, then you can work it back and forth, and it's not a big deal. Once you get used to working, um, once you get used to working with these things, it's real simple. We're going to go back to not using individual origins. We're using global now, or a medium point. Sorry, got mixed up there. And personally, this won't it won't necessarily line up like super well. The bones when you make them all asymmetrical like this, as long as the joints line up though, the rest doesn't really matter in my opinion. As long as it's roughly in the right spot, it should be okay. Like this could all be asymmetrical. Nobody in their mind would know. It would actually look more natural in my opinion. It would look much more realistic. All right, so what you would do is continue working this in this fashion. There's certain pieces, like the bottom here. you might have to just scale in and intersect each other, right? Now that looks like a vest, so that wouldn't look very good. What GR did was they pushed everything up like this, okay? And unfortunately, that's a lot of stretching in there, but it's kind of hidden. Like nobody's going to really notice, right? So then this jacket suddenly makes sense. Unfortunately, GR, they never added an extra loop cut here, so it always had weird shading, but you can do that. You can add a loop cut if you want. Depends on how much time you want to spend getting all the vertices right. But and then this might intersect with the legs or something in game, but it's one of those minor little details that doesn't really matter. So you can see how this is going. Now you'd boolean all this stuff together, or you'd merge this with that, merge this with that, or boolean that together. You could boolean these together, then start going through this manually and just redoing it, right? And also you have to create the collar, which I didn't do, but you get the idea. And then the odds are we're going to go into Photoshop later, and we're going to probably have to create make this seamless up here, and then add the pockets and stuff it needs, and or whatever the Gore-Tex jacket needs. So, and then we'll have to correct the colors on this one so they match this one, and probably the pattern too. It looks like the pattern's a little off. Maybe it's a little too small. It's not that bad. We'll work with it. Probably just a color correction. Could even do that right now, actually. If we just did, let's do a Photoshop. I'll show you. What I would do, load up a new version of Photoshop here. We'll see the parka. Photoshop would open. There we go. Let's go to this one, I think it was. And this one. We're going to open this one. All right, this is 1600. We're going to do edit, image, adjustment, match color, source, 1600. Boom. All right. You see how it does that? It's freaking insane, right? Let's see how much they match. Pretty close, not too bad. We'll have to tweak it a little bit more probably, but adjustment, match color, 1600. All right. Just save them. I'm just going to save as, save as. We'll see how close they are when they're compared in Blender here. So we grab it. This is the material. Just reopen it. Boom. That's the back side. Look, almost spot on, huh? This is the other one. Base color. Open it. Boom. That refreshes it. That's all it's doing. So, yeah, just like that, we are in business. We can totally Photoshop the heck out of this area. And that's going to save us a lot of time because it wouldn't be so fun Photoshopping all of this camo pattern everywhere. It'd be better just to work on seams and stuff and maybe do little touch-ups, right? And then you can always bake the ambient occlusion in. So right now, I have cavity on, but if we were to turn up the amount here, say to like 5, we can adjust the distance here, but you'd see if we play around with this value a little bit. This is more or less like screen space ambient occlusion. And so if you were to bake the textures though, after we do the atlas and all the other fun stuff, if you bake those textures in with an ambient occlusion on top, you can get some really phenomenal results. I would probably make them bigger. Make the little sections bigger. Something like that. So there's like a nice dark spot down there under the armpits, but sometimes you can play around with it, do different things. Sometimes doing that little smaller area is nice. Or you can combine the two. It's just Photoshop tricks, right? So let's turn that down a little bit. Yep, just like that. And if you bake that into the texture, it'll show up in game and look like it's pre-lit. It should look pretty phenomenal by the time you get done. You know, do your boots, do your gloves, do the face. The face is, I'll probably do a video on just the face alone because it's probably one of the hardest things. Then I might do like a helmet modeling and texturing thing as well. Who knows? We'll see what happens here. But anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm going to save that because I might use it later. But I will check you out in the next video. All right, take care.